This is Moshe coming to you from Israel in the Galilee, bundled up, sitting outside. It was just raining. I don't think I need this anymore. It rained for about 2 or 3 minutes. I didn't even go inside. It drizzled, and it's for us. It's cold out here. So anyway, what's going on in Gaza and Lebanon and so forth? Well, we are pumping seawater from the Mediterranean into the tunnels, and they're not using hoses. They actually built a water main. Now, I haven't seen a picture of this, but I would assume it's probably at least 3 feet, maybe 4 or 5. And they have a very powerful water pump, pumping seawater from the Mediterranean. And they bring it with the water main, and then I guess they distribute it into hoses, and they run it into the tunnel entrances, and they're flooding it. It's going to take some time. They got 300 miles of tunnels, and we'll see how this goes. I haven't seen a lot of mass surrenders as a result of this yet, but it may take days until they fill the tunnels up with enough water to cause them to evacuate the tunnels. The UN is, of course, aware of this, and last week they voted in the General Assembly for a ceasefire in Israel. And the Security Council got it, and it got rejected, and now the General Assembly did it again with an overwhelmingly strong vote for a ceasefire. But the General Assembly has no teeth. So they did it, and that's it. Now, what happens if there is no more America? Well, then the UN has nobody vetoing it. The UK won't. And what does that mean? Well, it means they raise an army and come to Israel to force whatever their will is on Israel. Think about that, because the daughter of Babylon is going to bite the dust before Zechariah 12. So I remember the way they're operating is they want to take America out and then come back and get Israel. That's their plan. Now, when I say they, the ones laying the snare for America, I would say are predominantly Russia, Iran, China. Well, I'd say Russia and China are number one. They're the first level. The second level would be like Iran and North Korea. Those are not real strong players. And then they have a third tier, which would be like Mexico, because that's where the illegal aliens, the military-age males, 70% of the illegal aliens walking across the border freely are military-age males. And that's a very, very unusually high, extremely high percentage. It should be men, women, children, old, young, blah, blah, blah. It's just military males up to 70% of them, more than 70% of them. And that is troubling, of course, to America, but it's Bible prophecy. That's the daughter of Babylon. So when those sleeper agents start up, we don't know what they'll do. We could sit here and speculate all sorts of stuff. Fire is what I would look at. Using fire against America. They use that against Israel with incendiary balloons. And China possibly has big balloons that can use lasers to start fires. This is rumor. I haven't seen a picture of anything like this, but a lot of people seem to think that this is real. I don't know. But I would look at fire because that's in the prophecy in Jeremiah 50:51. So they could start the fires preceding the invasion and disrupt things. Now, before there's an invasion, you're going to see ruler fighting ruler, and that's probably going to mean states seceding from the Union or attempting to do so, which Biden will never sit still for, and things like this. People say these sleeper agents may mobilize in smaller cities, where the population's under 100,000, maybe under 25,000, where the police are minimal and try to run over the city, destroy it, or whatever. Now, you got to remember, police departments have mutual assistance treaties with other police departments in the nearby area. Now, they're probably aware of that too. So state police come in, different sheriff's departments, and highway patrols, troopers, police, they'll all come to the aid, but they're not going to send that many because they're going to be afraid that if they're undefended, it could happen to them. So, but they will help. And the feds are also in on the mutual assistance. I think the idea here would be to make it such that America has to deploy a lot of its military to stop these takeovers of small communities. Now, I am not sure that's their approach. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's terrifying, but that's about it. It doesn't accomplish much. And it certainly doesn't collapse the country. So that's not a really strong possibility. It could happen, but I wouldn't plan on it. They're going to try to cripple major cities if they're going to do that. Well, we'll have to watch and see, because we could speculate all day long. Biden is saying Netanyahu needs to change his government, his coalition. There's too much indiscriminate bombing and too many civilian deaths. And families of the American hostages met with Biden today, I think, or maybe yesterday, and they cried to him. And of course, politically, in the eyes of the public, he's trying to figure out what to do about that. We don't know how many of these hostages are still alive, if any. We don't have any concrete information on this. Lebanon is still continuing border fights with us, mostly aimed at military installations, and we're fighting back. It does not appear that Lebanon or Hezbollah is going to really enter into the war, but in a big way. But it appears that Israel's going to shove Hezbollah back to the Livni, L-I-V-N-E river, 15 miles inland, and wipe out anything Hezbollah has between the Israeli border and the Livni river line, which is 15 miles. Now, that would have to be done with an invasion, I believe. They could disrupt tremendously with bombings and missiles and artillery. From our border, we could reach in 15 miles with our artillery, easy steezy. And we just got 14,000 artillery shells for tanks, which would also mean mobile artillery, the other day from America. So that's a lot of artillery. The world's turning against Israel more and more. So we're getting closer and closer, rest assured. Okay? Rest assured on that. Don't worry about that one. I'm thinking. Biden is confused, doesn't know what to do. Apparently, he's trying to sort things out. What else is going on? In Israel, some of the hostage families are protesting, and they want Israel to keep bombing Gaza. Netanyahu says he's not going to let anybody administer Gaza, and he's going the whole distance. But he's doing that for his own political reasons. So expect things to get worse. That's all I could say at this point. Okay? The Houthis recently tried to take out a ship that was carrying jet fuel. It was taking it from India through the Red Sea. They missed. They didn't take the ship out. So they're keeping it up. Yesterday we had some missiles come from Syria into the Golan Heights, and we bombed Syria. So things are heated up, and I don't see any sign of it coming down. And Israel openly now in the press is talking about turning against what the nations want them to do. And that's the sign of it coming, Zechariah 12. It's on the way. It's getting there. Israel's trying to throw the yoke off itself, and they can't. God has to take the yokes, the yoke from within the government and the external yoke, the nations. God has to do that. They're not going to be able to do it. But they're acting like they want it, which means they're getting closer and closer to wanting God to rescue them. That's how I see it. What else? I think the big thing we watch now is what does the water do to the tunnels. And the nations are going to realize that that's going to be the end of Hamas, and they're not so happy about that. Satan's not happy, and they're going to try to stop this. Biden with the open borders is a real problem for America. He won't close them, so they keep coming in. Texas put some climb-proof fence up in defiance of what Biden wants, so they're headed for a fight with the Fed, which could be the first state to succeed. Biden won't let anybody succeed. So from the union, that ain't going to happen. So that'll be fighting. If Biden's got so many problems, and he knows the master plan. He's in on the snare, because you can't give me or anyone else a good reason why he would continue to leave the border open when everybody's telling him you're getting sleeper agents at the rate of 70%. And the rest of them could be support. Sleeper agent for a cover story moves in with a woman and acts like a couple, or moves in with a man and a woman that are older and acts like their son. I mean, all this stuff, all this stuff. So you got to be ready for that, because it's not a type of thing that it's going to happen. It's all set up. It's just when the foreign nations are going to pull the trigger on this. Okay? And you just got to remember, calm down. This is prophecy being fulfilled. That's all it is. That's all it is. So that's what I got for now. So I send my shalom to those who love Yeshua HaMashiach, and I am out.